The alarm blared through NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Station at 3:17 a.m. George Harris jolted awake at his desk, wiping drool from his chin and adjusting his glasses. He had been working the overnight shift for 6 years and nothing exciting ever happened. Tonight was different. "What the hell?" he muttered, staring at the screen as data poured in. The station's most powerful telescope had detected something massive entering the solar system beyond Neptune's orbit. Not one object, but thousands. George called his supervisor, Jane Wilson. She arrived 20 minutes later, her face pale as she studied the readings. "This isn't natural," she whispered. "These objects are moving against orbital patterns. They're under power." By noon, the news had reached NASA headquarters in Washington. Dr. Alan Porter paced the conference room as analysts and scientists rushed in. His dark hair was messy from running his hands through it repeatedly, a habit when he was nervous. "The data confirms it," he told the room once everyone was seated. "We're looking at approximately 3,000 objects moving in formation. They entered our solar system 6 hours ago and are on a direct course for Earth." Dr. Linda Summers, a specialist in communication technologies, pulled up enhanced images on the main screen. "The objects maintain perfect spacing. No natural phenomenon does that, and the energy signatures are off the charts." "Are we talking about a meteor shower, comets?" asked Deputy Director Bill Mason. Dr. Porter shook his head. "No, sir. We're talking about ships, alien ships." The room fell silent. "How long until they reach Earth?" Mason finally asked. "At their current speed, 30 days, Dr. Summers replied. Within hours, the information leaked. Cell phone video showed people pointing at the sky, even though the fleet was still too far away to see without powerful telescopes. Social media exploded with theories. News channels broadcast non-stop coverage. Dr. Porter and Dr. Summers worked without sleep for 2 days straight. They managed to intercept signals between the ships, complex patterns that suggested communication. "Look at this," Dr. Summers said, pointing to her screen. She had isolated a repeating pattern in the signals. "This matches communication patterns we've detected from deep space before, but we never knew what they were." "And now?" Dr. Porter asked. "Now I know their military commands. Attack formations. These signals match exactly with what we're seeing in the fleet's movement." By day 3, the United Nations Security Council called an emergency session. Representatives from every nation gathered in New York. The atmosphere was tense as Dr. Porter presented the evidence. "The fleet is composed of vessels of different sizes, arranged in what appears to be a battle formation," he explained, his voice steady despite his fear. "Based on the intercepted communications we've analyzed, we believe this civilization has destroyed other worlds." Panic spread across the globe. Some people fled to remote areas. Others cleared store shelves of food and supplies. Religious gatherings swelled with those seeking comfort. But most went to work and school, trying to maintain normal life, while a sense of doom hung over everything. On day 5, President Olivia Wright addressed the nation from the Oval Office. Her gray suit and calm voice projected strength, but the lines around her eyes revealed her worry. "My fellow Americans and fellow citizens of Earth," she began. "We face an unprecedented situation. An alien fleet approaches our planet. While their intentions are not confirmed, we must prepare for the possibility that they are not peaceful. I have ordered our military to full readiness, and I am in constant communication with leaders around the world. This is a time for unity, not division. We are all Earthlings now." Behind the scenes, military leaders from major powers met at a secure facility in Colorado. General Pete Johnson of the United States Air Force laid out the harsh reality. "Even if we launch every nuclear missile on Earth at these vessels, our models suggest it wouldn't stop them all. Not even close." Admiral Yuri Petrov of the Russian Federation nodded grimly. "If they have technology to cross stars, our weapons will seem primitive to them." "Then we need better weapons," said General Li from China. "Or better strategy." Tianqiao, Day 7. Kevin Phillips, a young astronomer at a small observatory in Arizona, noticed something odd. While everyone focused on counting ships and calculating their arrival time, Kevin was studying the energy signatures. "Dr. Porter, this is Kevin Phillips from Lowell Observatory," he said when he finally got through on the phone. "I've been analyzing the fleet's energy output, and something doesn't add up." "I'm a little busy right now, Phillips," Dr. Porter replied. "Please just look at what I'm sending you. The leading ships are showing fluctuations in their energy fields. It's like they're encountering resistance, but there's nothing there." Dr. Porter checked his email and frowned at the data. "This could be nothing, just normal variations." "With respect, sir, I've been tracking them for days. The pattern is increasing as they get closer to Mars's orbit, and some ships seem to be falling slightly out of formation." Dr. Porter thanked him but dismissed the observation. There were too many urgent matters to address. By day 12, the world's governments had formed a joint task force. Admiral Gregory Howard, a decorated naval officer with a stern face and silver hair, was put in charge of Earth's defenses. Dr. Summers joined as the civilian scientific advisor. They gathered the greatest minds on the planet, including Dr. Elizabeth Frost, who had been living as a recluse in northern Canada for the past decade. Once a celebrated physicist, she had withdrawn from public life after a controversial paper about anomalies in the Mars region. "I've been waiting for this day," Dr. Frost said when she arrived at the facility. Her long white hair was tied in a messy bun and her blue eyes were sharp despite her 70 years. "I've detected unusual phenomena near Mars for years. No one would listen." Admiral Howard leaned forward. "We're listening now." Dr. Frost pulled out old notebooks filled with handwritten calculations. "There's something there, a field of some kind that our instruments can barely detect. It's strongest in Mars's orbit, on the side facing away from the sun." "And you think this could help us?" asked Dr. Summers. "I think," Dr. Frost said slowly, "that there might be a reason no one has ever invaded Earth before, despite the universe being as old as it is. Maybe we've had protection all along." As the alien fleet crossed Uranus's orbit, 18 days after detection, Earth prepared for the worst while hoping for a miracle. The fleet would reach Mars in less than 2 weeks. No, one knew that the miracle had been waiting there all along. Dr. Elizabeth Frost spread her papers across the large table in the underground war room. Maps of Mars, charts of energy readings, and old photographs covered the surface. The room was silent as military leaders and scientists watched her work. "For 15 years I've tracked an energy pattern near Mars," she explained, tapping a chart with her bony finger. "It's not natural. The pattern is too regular, too perfect." Admiral Howard studied the data with narrowed eyes. "You think it's artificial? Made by someone? Or something?" Dr. Frost nodded. "And now with the alien fleet approaching, the energy readings are getting stronger. It's like it's waking up." Dr. Summers looked skeptical. "If there's a defense system at Mars, who put it there? And why haven't we seen it before?" "Perhaps we weren't looking," Dr. Frost said simply. "Or perhaps it only activates when needed." President Wright joined the meeting through a secure video link. The bags under her eyes showed she hadn't slept much. "Dr. Frost, are you suggesting there's some kind of weapon near Mars that could help us?" "Not a weapon exactly," Dr. Frost replied. "More like a barrier or filter, but we need to get closer to understand it." Admiral Howard straightened his uniform and faced the camera. "Madam President, I recommend an immediate mission to Mars. We can send our most advanced spacecraft to investigate." "The ESS Defender," Dr. Porter added. "It's our fastest ship, almost ready for its maiden voyage." President Wright rubbed her temples. "How soon can it launch?" 3 days if we rush final preparations," Admiral Howard said. "Do it," the President ordered. "And may God help us all." The next morning, at the space launch facility in Florida, Captain Frank Miller received his orders. A tall man with a square jaw and calm eyes, he had been preparing to lead a science mission to Europa. Now, his mission had changed completely. "We're sending you to Mars," Admiral Howard told him. "Find out what's there and if it can save us." Captain Miller read the mission brief with a steady hand. "We'll need the best crew possible." "Already arranged," the Admiral replied. The crew assembled that afternoon. Stephanie Clark, the best pilot in NASA's program, arrived first. Her short blonde hair was tucked under a cap and she carried a small bag with personal items. "Captain," she said with a crisp salute. "Ready to fly whatever course you set." Next came Paul Rodriguez, the engineer. He was shorter than the others, with quick hands and quicker eyes that missed nothing about the ship's systems. "The Defender is ready," he reported. "I've checked every bolt twice." Dr. Daniel West arrived with several tablets full of data. The physicist specialized in quantum mechanics and looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Dr. Frost's energy readings are unlike anything I've ever seen," he said without greeting anyone. "The math suggests a quantum field of some kind, but the equations don't balance." Last to join was Dr. Natalie Owen, an archaeologist who specialized in the study of Mars. Her red hair was tied back in a practical ponytail. "If something artificial is on Mars," she said, "I'll find it." The crew had just 18 days before the alien fleet would reach Mars's orbit. Every hour counted. Launch day arrived with clear skies. The ESS Defender sat on the pad, sleek and powerful. It was the most advanced spacecraft ever built by humans, designed for deep space exploration but never tested beyond the moon. Crowds gathered to watch despite the early hour. Many held signs with messages like, "Save us," and "Earth's last hope." News cameras broadcast worldwide. Inside Mission Control, Dr. Porter monitored communications while Dr. Summers worked with her team to track the alien fleet. "They've passed Saturn's orbit," she reported. "No change in formation or speed." The 5 crew members strapped into their seats. Captain Miller looked at each of them. "Whatever we find at Mars," he said, "we bring that information back. No heroics, no sacrifices. We need to return with answers." The countdown reached 0. The ESS Defender lifted off in a column of fire and smoke. People cheered and prayed as the ship rose higher, then disappeared from view. In space, the Defender accelerated. Faster than any previous human vessel, Earth quickly shrank to a blue dot behind them. While the crew settled in for the journey, Dr. Porter made an important discovery back on Earth. He had been reviewing the alien communications nonstop and found something new. "Listen to this," he told Dr. Frost, playing a translated audio file. The computer voice sounded flat and emotionless. "Fleet Commander log. We approach the target system. The scouts report no signs of the barrier in the outer regions. Perhaps the legends were wrong. Perhaps this species has no guardians." Another section mentioned something called the Judgment, Dr. Porter added. "They seem worried about it." "Doctor?" Frost's eyes widened. "They've been here before, or at least their kind has." "And they were stopped?" Dr. Porter asked. "It would explain why they're approaching slowly, testing each region of space as they come." The ESS Defender was 3 days into its journey when strange things began to happen. Instruments flickered. The ship's computer reported brief power drops. "Something's interfering with our systems," Rodriguez reported from the engine room. "It's like we're passing through waves of energy." Dr. West checked his readings. "The quantum field is getting stronger. It's exactly what Dr. Frost predicted." "Captain," Miller called Earth, "we're experiencing unusual effects as we approach Mars. Request permission to continue." "Granted," came Admiral Howard's voice, "but proceed with caution." Meanwhile, Dr. Summers noticed changes in the alien fleet's behavior. Some ships had fallen out of formation. Others showed energy fluctuations. "They're starting to react to something," she told Admiral Howard. "The leading edge of their fleet seems to be struggling." On the Defender, Dr. Owen spent hours studying the surface of Mars through the ship's powerful telescopes. She focused on Phobos, the larger of Mars's 2 moons. "There's something there," she said, pointing to unusual markings on the moon's surface. "Those aren't natural formations. They look like writing." Captain Miller ordered the ship to accelerate to maximum speed. "We need to reach Mars orbit before the aliens do. Whatever's happening, we need to see it first." As the Defender approached Mars, the energy field grew stronger. The ship's systems began to fail one by one. "We're losing communications," Rodriguez called out. "Navigation is next." "Keep us on course," Captain Miller ordered Stephanie. "Head for Phobos." The ship shuddered as they pushed through the invisible barrier. Then, just as they reached Mars orbit, all systems shut down completely. On Earth, the connection to the Defender went dead. At the same moment, the alien fleet crossed Neptune's orbit. The race had reached its critical point. 12 hours of silence felt like an eternity. In the NASA control room, Dr. Porter stared at the blank communication screens. No one spoke. Some technicians dozed in their chairs after the long night without news. "Anything?" Admiral Howard asked, as he entered with fresh coffee. Dr. Porter shook his head. "Nothing from the Defender since they reached Mars orbit." Dr. Summers worked nearby, monitoring the alien fleet. "The invaders have slowed down," she reported. "Their formation is breaking up slightly." Back at Mars, the ESS Defender floated silently in orbit. Inside, the crew worked by emergency lighting. Rodriguez moved from panel to panel, trying to restore power. "Main systems are dead," he told Captain Miller. "But backup life support is holding." Stephanie floated to the window and looked out at the red planet below. "We're drifting closer to Phobos," she said. "Maybe that's good luck." Dr. Owen joined her at the window. In the dim light, she studied the moon's surface through binoculars. "Those markings are definitely artificial, some kind of writing or symbols." Dr. West worked with a handheld device powered by its own battery. "The energy readings are off the charts," he said. "Whatever this field is, we're in the middle of it now." Captain Miller gathered everyone in the dim command center. "We need to restart the system somehow," he said. "Any ideas?" Dr. West looked thoughtful. "The field seems to react to electrical systems. Maybe it's a defense mechanism that shuts down any approaching technology." "But why would it affect us and not Earth's other Mars missions?" Stephanie asked. "Because we're on a military vessel," Captain Miller realized. "The Defender was built with weapon systems. Our previous Mars missions were purely scientific." Rodriguez nodded slowly. "So this field targets weapons, not all technology." "We need to shut down all military systems completely," Dr. West suggested. "Maybe then it will let us operate the basic functions." Rodriguez headed to the engineering bay. "I'll disconnect the weapons grid from the main power." For the next hour, he worked by flashlight, disconnecting wires and removing critical components from the weapon systems. Finally, he called the captain. "It's done. All weapon systems are physically disconnected." Captain Miller nodded. "Try the restart sequence." Rodriguez took a deep breath and pressed the restart button. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, one by one, lights flickered on across the control panels. "It's working," Stephanie exclaimed. The navigation system came online, followed by life support and communications. "Send a message to Earth," Captain Miller ordered. "Tell them we're alive." On Earth, Dr. Porter had been awake for nearly 30 hours when the message came through. The control room erupted in cheers as his console beeped. "Defender reporting. Systems back online. Communications restricted. We'll send updates when possible." Dr. Porter quickly replied. "Status of field investigation. Alien fleet accelerating toward Mars." Hours passed before the next message came. "Field confirmed artificial. Dr. Owen discovered structures on Phobos. Preparing for surface exploration." Back on the Defender, the crew prepared for their mission to Phobos. Captain Miller, Dr. Owen, and Dr. West suited up while Stephanie and Rodriguez stayed on the ship. "Keep the systems running," Captain Miller told Rodriguez. "If anything starts to fail again, disconnect more components." The small landing craft separated from the Defender and descended toward the potato-shaped moon. As they approached, Dr. Owen pointed to a dark area on the surface. "There. That's where I saw the markings." They landed on a flat area nearby. The three explorers stepped onto the surface, their boots kicking up dust in the low gravity. "Incredible," Dr. Owen whispered as they approached the markings. They weren't just random symbols etched into the rock. They formed a pattern around what looked like a doorway into the moon itself. Dr. West scanned the area with his instruments. "The energy field is strongest here, flowing outward toward Mars orbit." Captain Miller touched the door-like structure. To everyone's surprise, it slid open smoothly. "It recognized us." Dr. Owen said in amazement. But how? They cautiously entered a long tunnel that led deeper into Phobos. The walls were covered with more symbols that glowed faintly blue. This place is ancient, Dr. Owen said, running her gloved hand along the wall. But the technology is far beyond ours. The tunnel opened into a large chamber filled with machinery, unlike anything they had ever seen. In the center stood a crystalline structure that pulsed with energy. It's some kind of control room, Dr. West said, studying the readings on his device. The energy signature matches exactly what we detected from Earth. Dr. Owen examined the symbols on the walls. These tell a story, she said slowly. I can't read all of it, but these images show a civilization that once lived on Mars. Captain, Miller pointed to another section. And what are these? They look like ships. Invaders, Dr. Owen said grimly. And these symbols show them being destroyed near Mars. Dr. West moved closer to the central crystal. As he approached, images appeared in the air above it. They showed the solar system, with Earth and Mars clearly visible. Then a fleet of ships appeared moving toward Earth. It's showing us the current invasion, Captain Miller realized. As they watched, the ships approached Mars and then began to disappear one by one. It's happening now, Dr. West said, checking his device. The alien fleet is reaching the outer edge of the energy field. On Earth, Dr. Summers stared at her screens in disbelief. This can't be right, she muttered. Admiral Howard leaned over her shoulder. What is it? The alien ships are disappearing, just gone. No explosions, no debris. They reach a certain point near Mars and vanish. She pulled up a visual from a telescope pointed at Mars. The feed showed distant dots of light blinking out one after another. Dr. Porter rushed over. How many? Nearly 100 ships gone already, Dr. Summers replied. And the rate is increasing. Dr. Frost smiled for the first time in days. The barrier is real, she said quietly. The judgment is real. Back in the chamber on Phobos, Captain Miller contacted the Defender. Stephanie, Rodriguez, are you seeing this? Yes, sir, Stephanie replied, her voice filled with awe. The alien ships are disappearing when they hit the energy field. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Dr. Owen had moved to another section of the chamber. I think I understand what this place is, she called to the others. It's not just a weapon, it's a test. A test of what? Captain Miller asked. Dr. Owen pointed to a series of images on the wall. Intent. It judges the intent of anyone approaching. Earth. Dr. West nodded slowly. That's why it shut down our weapons, but let us restart after we disconnected them. And that's why it's destroying the invasion fleet. We need to get this information back to Earth, Captain Miller said firmly. This changes everything we know about our place in the solar system. As they prepared to leave, Dr. Owen noticed one more set of symbols near the exit. She gasped as she understood their meaning. What is it? Captain Miller asked. According to this, Dr. Owen said, her voice shaking slightly, we aren't the first humans to find this place. Dr. Owen traced her fingers over the ancient symbols. Look at the dates carved here, she said. Based on the star positions shown, these markings are from the 1970s. Captain Miller frowned. The 1970s? That's impossible. No human mission ever landed on Phobos. None that the public knows about, Dr. Owen replied. She pointed to a small American flag symbol etched beside the date. Someone was here, and they found this place. Dr. West was still studying the crystal at the center of the chamber. There's more, he called. The system is showing me data about the aliens. Captain Miller and Dr. Owen joined him by the crystal. Above it, holographic images displayed the alien ships in detail. Strange creatures moved inside them. Tall beings with 4 arms and skin that seemed to shift colors. The system is scanning them somehow, Dr. West explained. It's reading their technology, their biology, even their communications. But how is it making them disappear? Captain Miller asked. Dr. West shook his head. I don't know exactly. The physics are beyond our understanding. It seems to create a localized field that, well, the closest word would be unmakes the ships and everything in them. Not everything, Dr. Owen said, pointing to a different display. Look there. The crystal showed small objects floating in space, debris from the alien vessels. Many pieces were intact despite the ships being destroyed. The system is preserving samples of their technology, Dr. Owen realized. It's keeping examples for study. Captain Miller tapped his communication device. Rodriguez, Stephanie, can you scan for debris from the alien ships? There should be pieces floating in Mars orbit. On it, Captain, Rodriguez replied. Back on Earth. The situation had changed dramatically. News of the disappearing alien fleet spread worldwide. People who had been preparing for invasion now watched in amazement as the threat vanished before their eyes. Over half the fleet is gone, Dr. Summers reported to Admiral Howard and President Wright. They keep approaching and they keep disappearing. Have we received any more information from the Defender? President Wright asked. Dr. Porter nodded. Captain Miller reports they've found an automated defense system inside Phobos. It appears to be judging the aliens' intentions and destroying their ships. Judging? Admiral Howard asked skeptically. Yes, sir, Dr. Porter replied. The system didn't destroy our ship once we disconnected our weapons. It seems to target only hostile intentions. Who built it? President Wright asked the question. Everyone was thinking. Dr. Frost, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. I believe we'll find it was the same species that once lived on Mars, a civilization far more advanced than our own. Are they still around? Admiral Howard asked. That, Dr. Frost said, is what we need to find out. On the Defender, Stephanie piloted the ship carefully through the debris field. Rodriguez used the ship's mechanical arm to collect samples of alien technology. Got another piece, he called as the arm grabbed a section of metal with strange writing on it. This one looks like part of their navigation system. The captain and the others should be returning soon, Stephanie said, checking the time. They've been in that chamber for almost 3 hours. Inside the Phobos chamber, Dr. Owen had made another discovery. She called the others to a wall that had slid open to reveal a new room. This is incredible, she whispered as they entered. The room contained display cases filled with artifacts. Each case was labeled with symbols similar to those on the walls, but also with symbols that looked remarkably like early human writing. These are from Earth, Dr. Owen said, studying the objects. Pieces of pottery, tools, even what looks like early writing tablets. They've been collecting samples of human development, like a museum exhibit, Captain Miller said. Dr. West was examining a large map on the far wall. This shows Mars as it once was, he said. With oceans, green areas that must be vegetation, it was like Earth. What happened to it? Captain Miller asked. Dr. Owen moved to another section of the map. According to these symbols, there was some kind of disaster. The atmosphere thinned, the water disappeared. They couldn't survive. So they came to Earth, Dr. West suggested. Dr. Owen nodded. Slowly, I think they did more than that. These symbols suggest they seeded Earth. They might have brought early life forms, maybe even guided human evolution. Captain Miller stood silent for a moment, absorbing this information. So the builders of this place might be our ancestors? Or at least our guardians, Dr. Owen replied. They left this defense system to protect us, their children. We need to document everything, Captain Miller said firmly. Take photos, record readings, gather any data we can before we leave. Dr. West was still studying the crystal. There's one more thing, he said quietly. The system is storing information about the aliens it's destroying. It's learning about them, adapting to their technology. Is it some kind of artificial intelligence? Captain Miller asked. More advanced than anything we've ever created, Dr. West replied. But yes, I believe it's a form of AI left here to watch over Earth. As they worked to document the chamber, a new alarm sounded on Captain Miller's communication device. Captain, this is Stephanie. The remaining alien ships are changing course. They're heading directly for Phobos. They must have figured out where the defense system is located, Captain Miller said grimly. We need to leave now. The three explorers quickly gathered their equipment and headed back through the tunnel. As they reached their landing craft, the ground beneath them shook. The aliens are firing on Phobos, Stephanie reported. But something strange is happening. Their weapons aren't causing damage. The energy is being absorbed somehow. They launched from the surface and watched as beams of energy from the alien ships struck Phobos. Instead of exploding, the moon seemed to glow brighter with each hit. It's feeding on their attacks, Dr. West realized, checking his instruments. The defense system is using their own energy against them. As they docked with the Defender, they watched the incredible sight unfold. Phobos glowed brighter and brighter until a pulse of energy burst outward in all directions. When it reached the alien ships, they simply vanished. All alien vessels have disappeared, Rodriguez reported in awe. The entire invasion force is gone. On Earth, people cheered as the last of the alien ships vanished from the monitoring screens. President Wright addressed the world again, this time with relief in her voice. The threat has passed, she announced. Thanks to the bravery of the ESS Defender crew and the discovery of an ancient defense system, Earth is safe. But in a secure meeting after the broadcast, she faced a difficult decision. How much do we tell the public, she asked Admiral Howard, Dr. Porter, and Dr. Summers. About what was found on Phobos? About our possible origins? The truth could change every human belief system overnight, Admiral Howard warned. But it also unites us in a way nothing else could, Dr. Porter argued. We are all descendants of the same lineage, protected by the same guardians. As they debated, the ESS Defender began its journey home, carrying pieces of alien technology and the greatest discovery in human history. Captain Miller sat alone in his quarters, looking at a photo Dr. Owen had taken of one particular symbol in the chamber, one that looked remarkably like DNA but with subtle differences. Who were you? He whispered to the image. And will we ever meet you again? The ESS Defender returned to Earth as heroes. Thousands gathered to watch the ship land at Kennedy Space Center. The 5 crew members walked down the ramp to thunderous applause. Captain Miller led the way, followed by Stephanie, Rodriguez, Dr. West, and Dr. Owen. President Wright greeted them personally. Cameras broadcast the moment worldwide. You have saved humanity, she told them, shaking each hand. Your bravery will never be forgotten. But the public celebration hit a deeper truth. Behind closed doors, world leaders debated what to do with the information and technology brought back from Phobos. In a secure underground facility in Colorado, scientists studied the alien debris collected by the Defender. Dr. Porter and Dr. Summers led the research team. This material is unlike anything we've seen before, Dr. Porter said, examining a piece under a microscope. It's some kind of metal, but it changes properties when exposed to different energies. Dr. Summers was analyzing the alien communication systems. Their language is based on mathematical patterns. We might be able to decipher it eventually. In another section of the facility, Dr. Frost and Dr. Owen worked with the data collected from the chamber in Phobos. They spread maps and photos across a large table. The timeline is becoming clear, Dr. Owen explained to Admiral Howard. Mars was once like Earth, with oceans and life. The civilization there was millions of years ahead of us technologically. And what happened to them? The Admiral asked. Dr. Frost pointed to a series of images showing the planet changing over time. Their sun, our sun, went through a phase of increased activity. Mars, being smaller than Earth and farther from the sun, couldn't hold its atmosphere against the solar radiation. So they came to Earth? Dr. Owen nodded. Some did. But Earth was still developing, still wild. They couldn't live here directly, so they did something remarkable. She pointed to images that showed DNA-like structures. They seeded Earth with modified versions of Martian life, adapted to Earth conditions, including early versions of humans. Admiral, Howard sat down heavily. So we're all Martians? In a way, Dr. Frost said. But evolved for Earth. They accelerated our development over millions of years, then left the defense system to protect us until we were ready. Ready for what? The Admiral asked. The two scientists exchanged glances. To join them, Dr. Owen said quietly. The data suggests they didn't all die out. Some left the solar system to find new homes. President Wright called a special meeting with the crew of the Defender, the scientists, and key military leaders. They gathered in the White House Situation Room, surrounded by screens showing data from Phobos. I've reached a decision, the president announced. We will not reveal the full truth to the public yet. The world is still recovering from the shock of the invasion attempt. Learning about our origins could cause more chaos than understanding. Captain Miller looked troubled. With respect, Madam President, don't people have a right to know? Eventually, yes, she agreed. But gradually in a way that won't destroy religious and cultural beliefs overnight. For now, we'll say the defense system was built by an unknown alien species that wanted to protect developing worlds. Which isn't entirely untrue, Dr. Frost noted. We just won't mention that we're their descendants. The public will be told about the alien technology we've recovered. The president continued. We'll establish a new international agency to study and develop it. What about the defense system itself? Admiral Howard asked. Do we try to control it? Dr. West shook his head firmly. We can't, it's too advanced. Besides, it doesn't belong to any one nation. It protects all of Earth. I agree, the president said. The Phobos facility will remain neutral territory, studied jointly by scientists from all nations. As the meeting ended, Dr. Owen approached the president privately. There's one more thing you should know, she said softly. The chamber contained a message intended for whoever found it. I've only just finished translating it. She handed the president a tablet. On it was a simple message to our children. When you read this, you will have faced your first test. The barrier will protect you from those who would harm you, but not forever. It was meant to give you time to grow, to learn, to become more than we could be. We are waiting among the stars. When you are ready, come find us. The president read it twice, then looked up with tears in her eyes. Have you told anyone else? Only Captain Miller and Dr. Frost, Dr. Owen replied. Keep it that way for now, the president said. The world needs time. 6 months later, life on Earth had changed dramatically. The recovery of alien technology accelerated human development in ways no one had imagined. New energy systems, based on the alien debris, provided clean power. Medical breakthroughs extended human lifespans. Transportation systems became faster and safer. Dr. Porter and Dr. Summers led the new International Space Technology Agency, coordinating research worldwide. Dr. Frost finally received the recognition she deserved for her years of studying the HFY Mars anomalies. At a newly built space center in Florida, Captain Miller prepared for his next mission. The ESS Ambassador stood ready on the launch pad, Earth's first true interstellar vessel, built with a combination of human and recovered alien technology. Are you nervous? Stephanie asked as they reviewed the flight plan. She would be piloting the Ambassador. Not nervous, Miller replied. More curious. We're going farther than any humans have gone before. Dr. Owen joined them, now serving as the mission's cultural specialist. The recovered star map should lead us to the nearest colony, she said. If they're still there. Rodriguez entered the room with Dr. West. Both had signed on for the mission as well. Ship systems are all green, Rodriguez reported. We're ready. Whenever you are, Captain. Dr. West nodded in agreement. The new drive system is performing perfectly in simulations. We should reach the target system in under 5 years. Captain Miller looked at his crew, the same people who had faced the unknown at Mars and discovered humanity's true heritage. Then let's make history again. The next day, as the ESS Ambassador prepared for launch, Kevin Phillips was working at his small observatory in Arizona. He had received a position at the new space agency after his observations about the alien fleet proved correct. As he calibrated his telescope, a strange signal appeared on his monitor. It wasn't coming from the alien debris or from Phobos. It came from much farther away, beyond the solar system. Kevin adjusted his equipment and refined the signal. Unlike the harsh mathematical patterns of the invasion fleet, this signal was harmonious, almost musical. and embedded within it was a simple pattern that could only be intentional. A greeting. With shaking hands, Kevin reached for his phone to call Dr. Porter. As Earth prepared to send its children to the stars, it seemed the parents were reaching out to welcome them home.